Hello and welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about the Stranger Things experience in London. So I actually got this for my sister's birthday and I wasn't quite sure I would actually find any tickets because they were going very quickly, and I'm not sure if it's an experience that's going to carry on after this November. So I was really online trying to scramble to get a couple of tickets. Anyway, so I'm not going to go through the whole thing because basically the first part is a 45-minute experience, they call it. And then in the main part, that's kind of in the middle, you can stay there for as long as you want. But that's probably the most kind of exciting. So I don't really want to give away too much of that area. Well, I say area, you go into different rooms. However, I will tell you a few things. So when you first arrive, you'll be given a little bracelet like this. I've got red, but I think there were three different groups that you can go into. And throughout the experience, you will go into a few different rooms, and there will be these three different colours. There might be a red colour on a seat or a table. So just make sure when you go into each room, you go towards the colour that's on your wristband. Now, I have a tip for you. As soon as they ask you to put glasses on, just keep in mind the best place to stand, because you'll go into another room and it will be slightly bigger, is the left hand corner right at the front. It's a big enough room that it's not really crowded, so it's probably quite easy to quickly maneuver yourself to the left and to the front, because that's kind of where everything goes on, and that's where you'll be able to use your glasses the most and get the best experience out of it, because it was incredible. I'm now going to talk about the main bit that you get to, and this is obviously where you can buy merchandise and you can have food and stuff. And I will go through food because my sister was just like, I want a burger and chips. They don't do that. They do mostly food, obviously, that you find in the TV series. So you'll have waffles. I had the waffles that had chicken with it and a little pot of like maple syrup, which was incredible. I think it was quite salty though, because I needed at least one bottle of water after that. So just bear that in mind. I was thirsty for the rest of the evening. You can also get ice cream. They have the ice cream parlour that you find in Stranger Things, and they also have the little pizza bus kind of thing. However, that is, I think you can buy one slice for £5, or you can buy the entire pizza for £23. And I think if you're spending 23, you're expecting, oh, it's going to be massive. But I'd say it's a kind of medium pizza for 23. I didn't exactly look inside the box, so I didn't really see how big it was. But my sister was happy to get one slice, so that was fine. But yes, don't go there expecting that you can actually get like a full-on proper dinner meal kind of thing. They do have their own bar, which I think they do like cocktails and stuff there. Um, Obviously, they are slightly different cocktails with names similar to the things you'll find in Stranger Things. There is a few arcade games that you can play there. So we played something similar to like Snake, and those are the ones that you don't have to pay for either. You can just crack on and have some fun there, which is quite nice. There is, yes, there's a little shop where you can buy, t-shirts and hoodies and stuff. You can get a poster. However, the poster was about £25. Again, if you're never going to be back in that same place again. I don't know if you can get exactly the same poster online. It might be a different picture, and you're happy to pay that, then brilliant, because they did have some pretty cool ones. I think the sort of t-shirts and hoodies, they ran from like about maybe £30 and upwards. Um, I think you can buy a few caps and bits and pieces. The one thing I really did like is they had, I think it's from the fourth season, and you see that girl. I think she's in the very first episode. I think she's only in the first episode. And she obviously comes from that school that's got, I think it's white and green. You can get some things like that. And there were a few girls walking around. And I thought, oh, I don't know if it was a hoodie or like a zip up kind of jacket, but that did actually look kind of cool. Obviously, it's 80s style, so you can dress up as 80s as you want to go. I I wore a jumpsuit. I had kind of an old-fashioned looking jumpsuit. It looked more sort of like what ABBA, I think, would wear. But it was nice and cozy and warm, and that's exactly what I wanted. Don't get me wrong, inside it was quite warm, but outside was freezing. My sister did much better because she actually had a t-shirt. I think it said, I don't know, it was I was born in the 80s or I love the 80s, but it had 80s on it, and I thought that looks kind of cool. And we had a couple of scrunchies in our hair. She actually braided her hair the night before, so it was like super frizzy and looked awesome. And it was just lovely to sit down and watch what everyone else was wearing. There were a couple of Maxes around, but the best one, she had the correct colour hair and the correct texture. I could tell that she just had this beautiful natural wave to it. She must have only been about 12, 13, and she had an old cassette player, and I don't know where she would have got that from. And she had the proper jacket and the jeans, and just definitely from the back, you just thought, that's Max, 100% that's Max. So the question is, was it worth it? Now, the tickets are a little bit expensive, but it does depend on the days and the time, so you might be able to get a slightly cheaper one. I was obviously just working around my sister's schedule, so we had to go for the slightly more expensive one, but I would pay it again. Because I think it was when they said, you know, the main experience is only 45 minutes, and you're like, oh, well, you know, what are you getting from that experience? Because obviously you don't really know much about it. But it was amazing. It was just, it was brilliant. It was brilliant. And I really don't want to give too much away because it's just such a great surprise. And as I said, when you get into the main part, you're on this high already, and so there's just so much more to see in the main area. So I think all in all, we were there for about 2 hours, and that was a good amount of time. I'm going to show you a couple of photo opportunities just in case people want to know what's there, because it's not just, you know, all merchandise and they've actually thought about what would be kind of cool as a photo. So this does give away a little bit into the main area. So if you don't want to see the main area, then I'd skip roughly around 15 to 20 seconds to the next part. One other thing, because I think we must have just walked straight past them, there are lockers, but they're kind of outside. They're a bit before you go in. The best thing to do is probably just to ask someone, because I did have my sort of bulky winter coat with me, which kind of ruined kind of what I was wearing, and obviously it was just a bit annoying to carry it around, and sometimes I had to put it under chairs and tables when we were doing the experience, and I thought, oh yes, a locker would have been absolutely fantastic. So definitely ask about that. In fact, I could have just taken my wallet and left my bag in there as well. I don't know if you have to pay for the lockers. I don't know if it's one of those that you put your £1 in and you get your £1 back, or you don't. But there are plenty of toilets inside as well, obviously not in the experience. So for that 45 minutes, just kind of make sure beforehand that you don't need to go. And just before I end, get your imagination going. As soon as the experience starts, just embody the feeling of where you are and the TV program and the characters. Just get involved as much as you possibly can, because my sister and I, we got so much out of it. I mean, I knew that she would get into it as well. So it's actually probably quite good if you're with a friend or something that you know that you can bounce off quite a lot, because I think you'll enjoy it a hell of a lot more. So that's my little video for today. So I do hope anyone who's going to the Stranger Things experience has an incredible time and enjoys it as much as I did.